and welcome to the channel of Hungarian heritage. My name is Kindra. Once upon a time is a beautiful, small country in the heart of Europe. This is Hungary. Hungary has a colorful history and rich of traditions. Gives place to several beautiful and famous historical buildings and other attractions. This time we introduce Bishop St. Gellert's monument and his history shortly. Bishop Gellert's original name has been Giorgio Sagredo. He was born in Venice as the son of a wealthy merchant family, but his parents soon began to worry about him because he suffered from a seemingly incurable illness. Therefore, at the age of 5, in 980, his parents gave him to the Benedictine monastery on the island of San Giorgio Maggiore, so that if the prayers of the monks healed him, they would give him to the service of God. Giorgio has recovered, so he began his studies among the Benedictines and proved to be very talented. At the age of 25, he already became a monk, taught for 7 years at the Bologna Monastery School, and then in 1012 became the abbot of the Venetian monastery. In the meantime, his father was killed by the Arabs on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. The boy changed his name to Gellért after his father in 995, and his mother died soon after. Gellért renounced all his inheritance and devoted his life to prayer and study. Even as an abbot, he has not found the purpose of his life. His old desire to spread the faith in the Holy Land increasingly overpowered him, so he got on a ship in 1015. But due to a storm on the Adriatic Sea, he was forced to spend time on the island of St. Andrew near Pula, where he met Raisina, the abbot of Pannonhalma. At Raisina's persuasion, Gellért, albeit reluctantly, was willing to visit the court of St. Istvan in order to reach his destination from there on the pilgrimage route through Hungary. According to Gellert's legend, he arrived at Bishop Moore of Pécs in May 1015, then reached Fever in August, and met the king on the 15th, the Feast of the Assumption. His sermon had such an impact on Stephen that he persuaded the then 35-years-old monk to stay in Hungary and entrusted him with the upbringing of his son, Prince Imre. Gellért finally gave up his plans for the Holy Land and ended up staying at court for 7 years. In addition to teaching the heir to the throne, he also acted in diplomatic matters, visiting France as an emissary of the Hungarian king. For example, when Imre turned 15, in 1023 Gellért retired to become able to live as a hermit, spending all his time in prayer, meditation and writing. This is where his explanations for the letter to the Hebrews and the first letter of St. John were written, which were later unfortunately lost without a trace. He could not enjoy his chosen seclusion for long. In 1028, King Stephen defeated Achni, who ruled the Maros region, and entrusted the organization of the local church to Gellért. He set to work with great energy and achieved good results. He has built churches, founded schools, toured the territory of his bishopric, converted the Hungarians there en masse, preached the word and performed many miracles with his healings. He has not gave up his writing work either. In Marosvar he wrote the main work of his life, Deliberation, based on the biblical story of the liberation of the 3 youths thrown into the furnace by Nebuchadnezzar. He was one of Stephen's most talented and loyal assistants, and he too could always count on the king's support. After the death of our first king, from 1038, he faced his successors. He besieged Peter Orseolo because he feared the independence of the young Hungarian church from his pro-German policy. He wanted to prevent the Hungarians from registering Christianity as a foreign religion. And he could not forgive Samuel Abba for having murdered 50 nobles in Chenod. That's why he even refused to crown him. After Abba's death, Peter Orseolo returned with German help. Bishop Gellért has fought hard for the independence of the Hungarian Church. So much so that at the outbreak of the pagan rebellion of Vita in 1046, Vasil's sons, Andras and Bela, were returning home from Fehérvár. On the way to the ferry in Pest, he stayed with his companions in Diósz the night before, where he dreamed of his death, and the next morning he said to his companions, "Today we come to our Lord Jesus Christ with the crown of martyrdom to eternal happiness. For I have seen our Lord Jesus Christ sitting on the lap of the Holy Mother, the Virgin Mary, as she called us to herself and sacrificed with her own hands the holiness of her body and blood." But when Bishop Benita came before him, Jesus Christ withdrew the sacrament from him. So he will not be a participant of our martyrdom today. After that, they continued their journey. Gellért, since the service had consumed all his strength by the time he was 56 years old, he took himself in a horse carriage. At the ferry, pagans attacked them, throwing stones at the Lord's servants. Gellért made the sign of the cross on his attackers, then fell on his knees and asked God not to blame them for their sin, since they do not know what they are doing. Gellért had a horrible death. They dragged him off his horse carriage, put him on a cart and pushed him into the depths of the Kalen mountain, which rises next to the crossing. He was still breathing at the time, so according to legend, the pagans pierced his chest with a spear, then dragged him to a rock and burst his brain. His prophecy has been also fulfilled. Among his companions only Bishop Benita survived the carnage. He was saved by Prince Andras. Gellért has been buried in Pest, where he rested for 7 years, when his body was taken home to Xanad, and Kalen Hill is known today as Gellért Hill. The statue of Bishop St. Gellért is located on the Buda side, on the side of Gellért Hill, at a height of approximately 40 meters. The composition consists of 2 figures. The central figure is a 7-meter-high statue of Bishop Gellért, made by Gyula Jankovic, while the side figure depicts the converted pagan Hungarian warrior. This is the work of Aladar Gardos. The sculpture complex is surrounded by a semicircular arcaded building. The composition has been designed by architect Emmerich Franczek. The overall picture is completed by a waterfall. Dear viewers, we hope you enjoyed this video. We are working continuously in order to be able to hand over to you some valuable creation. If you would like to see similar videos, please don't forget to subscribe. If you like it, please like and share with your friends. If you have any question or opinion, please leave a comment. Thank you for watching. See you in another video.